Hello, it's Ingrid. WineTelligence, the smart way to learn about wine. I've been trying all night to get onto Facebook Live, but it just doesn't seem to be working. So I've decided to do a little video and then to post it to Facebook immediately. It's been one of those days, and it seems, regardless of what you're trying, you're always going to be late or something's not going to work. I was in the elevator today. You know, in South Africa we call it a lift, and I know our international audience would say, what the dickens is a lift? Well, it's an elevator. And I walked into the elevator and there was a woman in the elevator who looked rather tired. In fact, she just stood there in the middle of the elevator and she just closed her eyes and waited till the stop for her to get out of the lift. And as she did that, I said to her, has it been a hard day? She looked at me and said, it's been a hard week. And I reckon on a Thursday, many of us feel exactly the same. And so this evening, I think I felt exactly the same. So it was going to be one of those quick suppers, something easy, and if I were on my own, I'd just do it as it is as simple as possible. But of course, when you have somebody else that you're cooking for, you have to tart it up a little bit. So tonight was sort of a bangers and mash kind of evening, where there was really no fuss and bother, but you may call it bangers and mash. Here in South Africa, we have something called boerewors. A boerewors is sausage, as you would understand the name Wors. Those of you who are Dutch or German would know Wurst would be sausage. And that's what we have. We have a Wors. And the prefix boere refers to the farmer. The farmer is a boer, so the farmer produced sausage. He made the most delicious sausage, and it became known as boerewors. Now, boerewors it's not just an ordinary sausage, and it's certainly not processed meat. It is ground meat, usually beef, and he would spice it up with all sorts of lovely spices. It would be coriander and cumin and cloves. If you wanted a very strong flavor, you'd put some garlic into it. You have, as I said, coriander and lovely flavors that would really spice up the sausage. And so we call it boerewors. So tonight it was a mash, potato mash with black beans, and the boerewors with fried onions. So that's fine for your partner, but it certainly was fine for my hubby. But I decided I'm going to do something called a boerewors roll, and that's what it is here. In South Africa, we refer to it as a boerie. So this is a lovely little boerie that I have just made. It's a white roll with your sausage, your boerewors, and you can put your relish on it. And I've got some fried onions and tomato and, of course, some chutney. So you can either make it nice and strong and tangy, or you can have it just as it is. Now, I'm going to attempt to eat this little boerie so that you can see. It's lovely. And anybody who visits South Africa will tell you there is nothing like it. Especially when you put your boerewors onto the hot coals. It's got to be a fire. We love to make our boerewors cooked on a fire, and that we refer to as a braai. And at the end of a long day, a simple boerewors roll just gives you that feeling you've come to the end of the week and now you can relax. And that's why, of course, tonight you'll notice the hair's not anything special. We're just enjoying something simple. However, taking a while to chew because I do eat rather slowly. Let me just finish that and savor it because it really is lovely. When you're having a simple meal, it doesn't mean that you've got to have a simple wine to go with it. And so tonight I've taken something quite special off my rack. Also, something quite South African. And that is the Pinotage grape variety, which was a crossing between the Pinot Noir, hence the first part of the name Pinotage, Pinot Noir and Hermitage. And the Pinot Noir was crossed by Professor Perrault in around 1925, and South Africa produces a very delicious Pinotage. This one that I've taken off my rack is the Allee Bleue Pinotage. It's the 2015 vintage, and it is the platinum label. Now, Allee Bleue also produces a very accessible, easy drinking white label range, and then they have the premium range, and they've also just released something called Allee Bleue Black Series. Now, I haven't got that with me at the moment, but I am going to feature that at another stage when I get to the farm to go and buy a bottle, because that Black Series is available only on the farm or very selected wine boutiques. And of course I'll have to save up some money for it, because it's not the it's really in the ultra premium range, and they would be coming in magnums and therefore priced between 800 and 1,000 rand, and right now my pocket doesn't allow for that. So I've taken the Allee Bleue Pinotage 2015 off my rack. And to wash down the bully, I'm going to enjoy this. Now, as I said, when you're having a hairy day or hairy week, take something special off the rack and enjoy it. This Pinotage, I'm really delighted to say, I'm thrilled that it's got the beautiful berry character. It's got a lovely fullness to it. It's only 2 years old, and it's drinking very, very nicely at this stage. And I'm saying that it's drinking very nicely because I did have a little preview taste. The reason I had a preview taste was the Pinotage grape. Just last week someone said to me, you know, either you love Pinotage or you hate Pinotage. Now, because I like wine and I'm very keen to try all the different varietals, but Pinotage is close to my heart because when I started in the wine industry, I was thrilled to learn that this was South Africa's very own. The crossing done by Professor Perrault made the Pinotage a South African variety. It was during that time, before democracy, in the early 1980s, when winemakers and marketers were trying very hard to keep the wine doors open on the international market. It was also during that time, I remember, when there were a couple of British wine masters who came out. And in fact, they spoke about our Pinotage and said, you know, it's a varietal that needs to be drunk in its youth, needs to be drunk young. Well, at that stage, it was the 1980s, and we were drinking some really superb 1970s Pinotages. So we proved them wrong. However, I remember during the 1990s, sort of late 90s into the early 2000s, when suddenly there were many Pinotages that picked up a very bitter character. Nobody ever revealed exactly what it was. Not all cellars had a very bitter Pinotage, but round about 1996, 98, 2000, there was this bitterness. Some experts had said it had to be a virus in the vineyard. Others had mentioned that it could have been a bug in the cellar, because not all Pinotages picked up that character. And many people were put off from Pinotage. And then, of course, when democracy caused the Great Flood and people were very happy, and South Africa was flavour of the month and flavour of the year in 1994, that was the time when people started tasting our Pinotage, and many of them were put off because of that bitter character. Later years, we started producing Pinotage having different flavours to them. Do you remember? They're still on the shelf. You get a chocolate Pinotage, or you'd get a coffee Pinotage, or you'd get a liquor Pinotage. All of these flavourings, because they were toasted in a certain way, all of these different characters that came through on the Pinotage really masked what the varietal really is, the backbone of the varietal. In recent times, the stalwarts of the Pinotage movement have always just kept it pure Pinotage. But recently, I have picked up on a couple of wines that I've tasted. On the 2013 vintage, some of those that I've tasted have a rather bitter character. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you are one of those who says, no Pinotage for me, please give it a chance. It's possible that the winemaker is making a style of Pinotage that you don't like. So try another cellar. Try the Allee Bleue if you would like, because there is no bitterness on this particular wine. I also tasted the Black Series Old Vine Post. It's got quite a long name, but it is from the Black Series, and it was the 2016 vintage. It's only a year old, and it was drinking very, very nicely. So this one's a 2-year-old Pinotage, and as I said, this lovely black currant character that comes through on the nose, the cassis, the richness of quite a complex wine, this one. Lovely. Lingers on the palate, stays there beautiful and full in the mouth. Touch of honey that goes through on the palate, and almost a sweet tartness that lingers on the tongue and on the palate. This is a wine that the Bleue is just a very humble accompaniment to this lovely wine. It would go superbly with your roasts, with your game as well, because it's got such a lot to it. As you notice, the legs here, nice alcohol and lots of lovely extracts in this wine. The winemaker, since 2009, is a very, very lovely man called Van Zyl de Toy. And Van Zyl has a lovely sense of humor as well, and he produces these fine wines at the Allee Bleue estate. I'm going to be telling you a bit more about the Black series as soon as I'm able to lay my hands on a bottle of it. And in the meantime, the other thing that I wanted to tell you about this, you will have noticed that it's also received a gold medal at the Old Mutual Trophy Awards. So the Allee Bleue 2015 Pinotage has received gold at the 2017, just recently, at the Old Mutual Awards, Old Mutual Trophy Wines. And there you have it. As I said, if you're having just coming down after a hard week and you're really feeling that you need to get to the end of this week, tomorrow is the day for that, when the week will end, and no reason to be drinking bad wine. As we said, life's too short to drink bad wine. Till next time, this is Ingrid from WineTelligence, the smart way to learn about wine. Till next time, I'll take something else off my rack. Goodbye.